First of all, I'm here today, and I'm very thankful to be here today because this is a great topic. It's a great topic I'd like to speak about because it's something about my life as an entrepreneur. I've been around for, I'd say, since I was 14, so I look at that later on. I started out when I was 14 with a couple of friends and did my first exit when I was 20, so I'll show you that later on. But first of all, before I start into the presentation, I'd like to thank you very much. I'd like to congratulate you because you guys are the ones that will shake the world. I'm saying that with no blink because we're facing the future with great challenges and great opportunities. There's a great world of abundance out there, but there's a lot of problems out there that need to be solved as well. And then I ask you now, is it the bureaucrats that can solve the problems? Is it politics that can solve the problems? Or is it the large corporation that can solve a problem? And I say to you, no, it's us. It's the entrepreneurs of the world that are in the position to create value where there was no value before. Not just value for the client, not just value for the teams that you inspire, not just value for the investors, but also value for the overall society. So therefore, once again, congratulations that you've chosen the way to be entrepreneur. And welcome to this presentation. We're going to go with this interactive section called the Pareto Mindset. Now, this is the most overlooked question in every session. And I'll just give you a little story here. It was a couple of years back. I was in a German workshop, and you know, when you're doing these workshops, you say, okay, what's your name? Wie heißen Sie? And they say, okay, mein Name ist Bernd und so. And I say, okay, what do you do? Was ist Ihre Funktion? Dann sagen sie, okay, ich bin Finanzvorstand. Okay. And then I ask the question, why are you here? Huh? Und dann he says to me, well, ja, wissen Sie, Herr Loepfe, die Hälfte der Tage weiß ich auch nicht, weshalb ich mich morgens aus dem Bett mühe. Huh? So, the question why you are here today is a very essential question because how will you know if you have got some value from the presentation if you haven't answered the question up front, why are you sitting here? So in the course of this interactive session, I kindly invite you to ask and answer the question why you are here. I know why I'm here, right? I was taught in school from my sociology professor, Dr. Odermatt, that perception rules the world. And if I want to be perceived as an expert, he told me I have to show a chart like this, because this is the chart of the clients that we work for, and I'll flick on right on because I'll take a couple of stories. This is a typical curve of growth of a company. You've seen this before, right? You start up, you go into pioneer phase, you grow, you sort of mature yourself, and then all of a sudden things turn around. This is your prototypical way of looking at things. This is what I look at. I live in Switzerland, right? In Switzerland, there are mountains. And as you're an entrepreneur, you're going on this journey up this hill, right? You're going up, you have your backpack full of everything, you're going up, and all of a sudden, the fog sets in, right? Because things are getting more and more complex. Your company grows, you have more employees, you have more structures and processes, you have more things to look after, and all of a sudden you're stuck in what I call here the fog of complexity. And this is what it looks like in another chart. This is the other chart before. All of a sudden, you know, you have your first staff and obviously processes, and all of a sudden you're stuck there. But you're in the fog, and you know that above the fog, the sun will be shining. So the entrepreneurs that come to us in our coaching program, they ask themselves, well, we're here, how do I get above the fog? How do I get in the sunshine? Well, entrepreneurs, they start with passion. As I say, they grow up to these processes and procedures, then they find themselves in this plateau, and we'll be talking about the plateau very close later on. They get stuck inside the progress, and everything gets more and more complex, and then they come to the point where they say, gosh, I wish I could just rewind time and go back to the time when I funded my company and everything was much easier, right? I don't know if you've been there before. Things are so complex. You're probably 2-3 years into your venture, and you just like to go back and say, oh God, I wish I was back there when everything was so much easier. I had one employee, or it was just me as a solopreneur. I had no costs. It was so easy. But I'd like to go back with the knowledge I have today. This is me. And this is why I got kicked out of school. I got kicked out of school when I was 17. I was in the gymnasium in Switzerland. I got kicked out of school because together with a couple of our friends, we started when we were 14 to build a company. It was a company that did nothing but rent PA systems, like the stuff you see here, right? We funded with 50 Swiss francs. That was our seed money we got together from our own guinea pigs, right? So we started out and we did sort of a discotheque. This is my entrepreneurial journey. So I started with 14. Then we exited, the first exit. Now this is a lot of money for a guy that's 19 years old to gain 32,000 Swiss francs. And each of us, there was 5 friends of mine, we had 32,000 Swiss francs at the time when we sold our big company, right? So then we went to university. And then I went into a job. Mind you, out of those years, I'm 47 now. When I started out, since then I've been employed for 3.5 years. So it pays off to be an entrepreneur, right? I started up my own company when I was 30. And then came the big climb. You see here, the biggest frig up ever happened. What happened is I sold my company. And if you have a company, I tell you, please never sell the company. It's contrary knowledge, as what you heard before, because when you sell the company, all of a sudden you're somewhere where you don't want to be. And you get off track of yourself. I sold the company to a larger company. We were 35 people at the time, small company, right? 35 people. And then all of a sudden, I have to manage. And I tell you, entrepreneurs are not born to manage. What are they born for? They're born to create value. Once again, they create value for their clients, for their people that they have in the staff, for society, and for themselves. And once you sell your company, you're sort of in a void. So that's what happened. I sold my company, and it really went down. I tell you, if you've never been there as an entrepreneur, you've heard these stories before. If you haven't really gone bankrupt or so, you haven't really lived as an entrepreneur. And I can tell you what it feels like when you have to pay salaries of approximately 170,000 Swiss francs by the end of the month, right? And you have not one screw on your account. It's pretty tough. And you go talk to the banks and say, guys, can we have and say, no. Then you're in shit, right? Deep shit. So, as I said, when I pulled the plug there, and I not only lost a lot of money, I not only lost my sense of direction, I lost my sense of humor, which was a terrible thing to lose. And mind you, a sad thing also, I lost my mom at the time. So everything comes together, right? I lost my mom to cancer, so everything comes together at the time. Nevertheless, I started up once again when I was 40. Started as 4 and 5, architectural firm and a consultancy, and the company they'll talk about right on. So 20 years, 2,500 projects, and the question always is, how do I get above the fog of complexity? Okay, this is once again what it looks like. You start off, lots of entrepreneurial time, right? You have your ideas are rambunctious, you're all happy to go ahead, less stuff, and some free time. Then you grow into the company after 2 years. All of a sudden, the stuff here gets more and more managing, right? Once again, a tsunami of stuff. Then you're left with probably about 10% of your time to be a real entrepreneur, but it starts paying off. So then you're getting used to these, the funds coming in, but all of a sudden, things start to level off. You're at a plateau, and then all of a sudden you find yourself here. Now, I don't know where you are in this curve. You may be here, you may be here, you may be here, or you may be up there. Now, the clients, the clients that we talk to in our coaching program, they are here. And they're fed up. They're fed up with their life because they don't have time for themselves. They don't have time for their families. They don't have time to be themselves as an entrepreneur, but they have a lot of time to manage the stuff. So they want to go here, away from stuff. They want to go back to flow, I call this, to be an entrepreneur, and back to being me. So that's where they are on the program. So in a sense, they're stuck in this limo. They're stuck in there, but they can't go to the next 7-Eleven to buy themselves a 6-pack of beer because they're stuck. Okay, so looking at things in hindsight is pretty easy. See, like an old world, you see a new world. In the old world, you get stuck in the rut. You know, you work very hard, you have discipline, you do more and more, you do everything. And the new world, all of a sudden, things get much more easy. And that's what we're talking about right now, the new world. So in the old world, you know, this is you trade time, you work a lot. And mind you, if you read all through this here, I can tell you that I've been there myself as well. And in 1998, what happened, you know, if you think that you do more and more, that you get more results from doing more and more, it doesn't work. Your health. Yeah? I have a little sound in my ear here. It's called a tinnitus since 1998, right? So when you're all stressed out, things happen to your body that you don't like.